Next item of business at elected officials, departmental reports. We've got Finance Department from Mr. Cotton.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioners, you have my report. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them at this time.
Is there a motion to adopt? We have a motion for Commissioner Hennessee, second for Commissioner Stotts. Anybody got any more questions? And all in favor of adoption, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Animal Control and Adoption Center, we've had our director kind of on leave for a few weeks, but you had the copy of the departmental report. It was a little brief, but Commissioner Wiltshire, you might want to speak to that or entertain a motion to accept what was presented.
Yes, I will do that. I entertain a motion to accept the report.
So we have a motion for the report. Is there a second from Commissioner Savage? Anybody want to speak to that motion? And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? County Welfare, Commissioner Wiltshire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have my report, and if there's any questions, I would be glad to try to get them for you. I put that in form of a motion to
We have
accept.
a motion for Commissioner Wiltshire. Is there a second? For Commissioner Glenn. Anybody else want to speak to that motion? And all in favor of adoption say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next is Health Department.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Each of you should have my report. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Motion to accept.
We have a motion from Commissioner Carl D. Bolden. Is there a second? From Commissioner Laura Judkins. Anybody want to speak to that motion? And all in favor of adoption say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. IDB Quarterly Report. Chair recognizes Mr. Alexander.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I think my report is on page 34. Be glad to try to answer any questions.
Motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Bell to approve. We have a second from Commissioner Stout. Anybody else want to speak to that motion or have any questions? Mr. Alexander. And all in favor of adoption say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Planning Commission, I think you've got a copy, so Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a copy of the Planning Commission report. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer or find the answer. Thanks.
We have a motion from Commissioner Lee. Is there a second? We have Commissioner Glenn. Anybody else want to speak to that motion? And all in favor of adoption say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next item of business is committee reports. Budget and Finance Chair recognizes Chairman Grissom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget and Finance would like to report. We began the budget review process on March the 21st. That's continued through April the 4th, and will also continue this week on the 18th. Thank you.
Thank you. Building and Grounds, Chairman Bolden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, Building and Grounds has nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Economic and Agricultural Development, Chair recognizes Commissioner Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, Economic and Agricultural does not have anything to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Education Committee, Chair recognizes Chair Carleen Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, testing is going on throughout our entire county at the school system now, and so far the computers are up and running. Our next education meeting is going to be on Monday, May the 6th at 5 o'clock, and this time it's going to be at the Bobby Ray Elementary School. And the purpose of it is so we can take a tour of the renovation project there. So if you want to join us, come to the cafeteria entrance at that school. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Financial Management, Chair recognizes Finance Director Justin Cotton.
At this time, only thing I have to report for financial management is that earlier this month we received a request from the Tri-County Railroad Authority. I believe all of you were presented with a copy of that request. Moving forward with the budget process for the next, they've requested an appropriation of sorts for the next 4 years of $20,000 and to do some repairs for the rail line. And that'll be something that'll be addressed probably at the next financial management meeting. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you. I've been in conversation with both Mayor Cordell and Mayor Robinson, and so we're trying to do something that might be an interlocal agreement between the three counties that pledges our support, because the value of the railroad is we cannot do without it, as most of you know. So we would lose some integral businesses and industries here in Warren County without it. So I'll be be bringing you more information. We have a railroad meeting this week. So, thank you. Health and Welfare, Commissioner Wiltshire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As most of you know, we are on abbreviated hours at Animal Control and Adoption Center. We have one person that is on leave. And Shelby and Jed are doing the best they can along with the volunteers to keep everything going. But you probably will get some calls, I know I have, and just, tell the people be as patient as possible with them. They're doing the best they can considering the situation. And on a positive note, you probably know that we're going to receive a donation at some point from a citizen, and so that's going to really help us out a whole lot down there at Animal Control and Adoption Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Highway and Bridge, Chairman Prater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Highway Department's, we're still working with TEMA on some of the $300,000 we're trying to get some help on with all the rain that we had last month. So right now, we're still working with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Policy and Personnel, Chairman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, Policy and Personnel has nothing to report.
Thank you. Safety, Chair recognizes Chairman Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, safety has nothing to report.
Thank you. County Correction Partnership, Chair recognizes Chairman Helton.
We had a very good meeting with our last county corrections meeting with William Cope from Rutherford County. He come in and did a program for us about different programs we put into our facility, and give us a lot of great ideas. Hopefully, some of those ideas will take root. Of course, having a place to do a lot of those is key, and so hopefully this expansion process that we're going through can open up some space where we can bring in some new programs. And these programs, I want to get people's wheels thinking about this. It's not something we have to pay for. Church programs, if you're a financial person who would like to give financial classes, that type of stuff, these are all types of things that we need to educate our inmates on and try to make them more productive people whenever they get out of jail. So that's sort of the mindset. So if you're interested in that, or know anybody or any groups that are interested in that, we're going to be working together to get a list up to try to get more programs going on in our facility. Our next meeting will be on May the 6th. It will be a joint meeting with safety. We're going to be reviewing the budget. It will be here at 5:30 in this building. I'm not sure exactly what room yet. And then we don't have any plans yet from Upland. Maybe Executive Haley can give us an update on our plans for the jail.
They have been reviewed, and they've met with the sheriff and looked at a couple of possible expansions. So nothing's in stone just yet, so Upland Design is still working on that. Commissioner England, I will recognize you to give us a little update on the TCAT lunch we had the other day about NC3 and the SNAP-on training that might be available for the jail.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we are trying to, our Tennessee College of Applied Technology, we are trying to get a program called NC3. They may not mean a lot to you guys, but you can look up on the internet. And what it is, it's a 6-module teaching unit that can be taught in our classrooms at the TCAT school. But our goal is to expand that, not only just in our school, but my idea and some of our ideas is to help with the Sheriff's Department. Work with Jackie. She was at our meeting the other day, and I talked yesterday evening. I spent some time with our sheriff and spoke with him about it. And the ideal is we can go in and take some of these inmates, and we can train them as easy as reading tape measures to calipers and mics to hole gauges and things, to where when they leave and go out in the community to get a job, they will have these certificates. They will take tests online, and I'll be able to teach. I've been certified now to be able to teach it, but there is a process. We have to get a kit, and so right now the meeting that we had Friday was to help raise money to get this kit that we can go out and teach this. And what's one of the good things about it is it's portable. So the school, we're going to try to buy a little trailer that we can keep it in, and I can just transfer it over, say, to the jail, where we don't have to move the inmates. And hopefully when they get out, we can go to, like Mr. Helton's business as an example, and they can go in there and say, I can do this, I can do that, and he's going to know they've been trained. I think it'll be a good thing for our county. We'll be one of the first ones that I'm aware of that will be able to take this into not only our school, but our jail. And that's going to be a great thing. And also, if no bad luck, hopefully maybe by this fall,
we'll have it in our high school as well. So it's going to be a great thing. It's going to be a great thing. If you want to know more about it, just look it up. It's nc3search.com, and if you want to talk to me about it, be happy to.
Thank you, Commissioner. Redistricting, I have nothing to report except that tomorrow night at 5 o'clock here in this building, we've been meeting with the national directors about putting a complete count committee, which we passed as a resolution, a proclamation from the commission. And so we'll be doing some training about the upcoming 2020 census. And so we have sent out invitations to members of the community, so we hope to have a large crowd here to train so that we will be well in place to start counting our citizens for the important redistricting that will be coming up and representation not only in national government but also the state legislature as well. So if you're interested in that, 5 o'clock tomorrow in the early voting room. So Sherry Jackson will be here to do some training. Next item of business, we've been doing a little education during our commission meetings. And so Main Street McMinnville plays an integral part of our community, not only for tourism development, but economic development across the downtown, as well as across the county. So I'd like to introduce Katie Kemezis, who is in charge of our Main Street program here at McMinnville. So we've asked her to do a little presentation tonight.
Thank you, County Executive Haley, and thank you all for inviting me to be here and to talk about Main Street McMinnville. I am Katie Kemezis, and I'm the Executive Director, the sole staff member of Main Street McMinnville. And I wanted to just note, I left all of you a magazine we published last year, and it talks all about the small towns in the Upper Cumberland, and talks about a lot of issues that towns like us are facing. Farmers markets, revitalizing downtown, arts and businesses, and this is just for you, for your education. One of the programs we did, we had an opportunity to do this magazine, and I wanted to make sure you all had a copy. So tonight I'm going to talk about who we are and what we do, and even though our name seems to imply that we're really just focused on McMinnville, to impress upon you the many ways that Main Street McMinnville aligns itself with county initiatives and makes an impact that spreads across the county and to your constituents. And Matthew's got my back. Okay, thanks. So let me talk a little bit about who we are, and this is going to be the most non-profit-y part of my presentation, so bear with me. But I want to talk about how we are a nonprofit that's laser focused on downtown revitalization. It is our belief that a strong downtown can act as an economic engine, a cultural heart, and a tourist destination for the city and the county. We focus on the tangible assets like our historic buildings, the views of Ben Lomond, and our intangible assets like our small town hospitality and our strong sense of place, and really leverage those assets towards economic growth and prosperity. Our work is based on a national Main Street approach. We're not a chapter, but we use a national model that's used across the country, which was developed by the National Trust of Historic Preservation. At our core, we believe that historic buildings and urban fabric can go far to building a really positive experience of downtown. So we nurture a beautiful, vibrant place with the idea that it inspires small businesses to open, locals and tourists to visit, and cultural events to move downtown and really create a heart of all of our community and of the county. And we're starting to see that happen, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. I want to highlight that this approach was developed at a time when manufacturing jobs were shrinking and rural economies and communities were floundering. The approach encouraged communities like ours to use what they had, the assets I mentioned, to stabilize and grow the economy and to build a community that could withstand state and national business and economic trends and dips. It's about resiliency, building resiliency into the fabric of our community. When Main Street McMinnville was founded in 2001, it gave our community more control over its fates and fortunes. Our organization encouraged investment downtown in order to create a nurturing environment for people to become or to support small business owners and add a diversity of good paying jobs to our economy so that jobs weren't just located in industrial parks, and they weren't just located in tourism-based businesses that could kind of shift and change with the trends of those into specific sectors, we could work here to kind of build another form of economic engine here to complement the work that was already happening. But focusing on historic buildings and experience isn't enough. So we also provide services that support downtown businesses. We promote their specials, their events, and we tell their unique stories. We organize events like Main Street Live to draw people downtown, and we tell the story of downtown in our community across our media channels. We promote, ultimately, our goal is to promote downtown as a place full of activities for the whole family, that everyone can find something to do downtown. So this is who we are. I feel like I'm going to have to check every time. I'm sorry, Matthew. I trust you, but this is our board of directors. So I just wanted you to see that it's your neighbors, your colleagues, your tennis partners and whatnot. In addition to these individuals, we have ex officio officers, including Mr. Alexander from the IDB, the Chamber of Commerce, Heritage Alliance. A county representative is Commissioner Stotts, right there, and city representative. We also have the Park Theater and the Downtown Business Alliance that are our members of our board. And we take all of their input and feedback into our kind of building of our programming and understanding the needs of our community. But we can't do it alone. We can't implement our work alone. We work with a number of different partners so we can leverage our efforts together and make a bigger impact than we could just with me, one staff member, and my volunteer-led cohort. Our work is volunteer-led. We have committees that build our scope of work and implement it. We also have individuals and business members who we call our Main Street believers. And they're those who are die-hard downtown revitalists and who we rely on for support and encouragement and feedback. We also consider our downtown residents and users as another constituency that we serve and that we've asked for kind of their input into what we could be doing better and what downtown could be doing better. Okay, so that's kind of a little bit more abstract. So let me get into what that actually means in terms of what we do. So probably you all know, or most of you will know us from Main Street Live. It is an example of one of our community-based events that we use to draw people downtown. Our bands are confirmed for 2019. We're excited to have returning favorites and new bands, and we'll announce the full lineup later this month. This hallmark event helps downtown revitalization in a couple different ways. It gives us great pleasure to provide a free, easygoing, outdoor concert event for Warren County and surrounding counties. We know from collecting zip codes at Main Street Live that people come from Murfreesboro and Cookeville, Manchester, and then of course the more immediate counties, DeKalb and White County and Grundy and Van Buren. We know those people are coming into McMinnville, into Warren County, and spending money, or at least coming downtown and experiencing how beautiful our downtown is. Music is such a part of our community, and we love to contribute this concert to that culture. It helps us to position downtown as a happening place. It gives us a fantastic platform to invite people to come downtown and play and have a really positive experience. They're exposed to new businesses and beautiful views of McMinnville, and we want to think of downtown as a we want people to think of downtown as a destination for their families to have fun, to listen to music, go out and go shopping, and not just a trip to the post office or a dreaded court date. We want them to when they think of what we should be doing, what should we do tonight? Let's go downtown. There's always something happening downtown. That's our ultimate goal. As I mentioned, care and attention to our historic buildings is a part of what we do. It's at the heart of what we do. Our biggest project, our second probably biggest project people know us for is for the Streetscape Revitalization Project we did in 2004 and 2005. It was one of our first big projects, and working alongside many organizations and agencies, including the county, we transformed downtown from a hostile environment you didn't want to be in to a place you wanted to visit, to be in. It was a first step to building a place where people wanted to be and businesses wanted to open. We also offer incentives for property owners to care for their businesses. their buildings. Last year, we were awarded by the state a facade improvement grant. Through this grant, we can sub-grant funds to building property owners in downtown so that they can do repairs to their building on the exteriors, painting, awning repairs, brick repointing, etc. Our current grant gives us $56,000 to give out to the community. We've already allotted, $14,000 in grants, and that has and the projects that have received that money amount to $25,000 worth of investment in downtown buildings. So these investment projects are important. We know that improvements we know that storefront improvements have an economic impact. A study has shown that 90% of businesses that are surrounding an improvement project experience increased sales, not just traffic, sales. So that, of course, means increased sales tax revenue. And of course, that means more traffic in our businesses. They're building relationships with those customers and creating that economic engine, that they're really able to grow and really keep contributing, grow, add jobs, and also give back to our community. Improved buildings also mean places for business to take over. If you think of buildings that have sat vacant for years or for whatever reason were inappropriate for businesses, this is a chance for them and these kinds of investments allow new businesses to grow. So as I mentioned, much of our work is focused on supporting downtown businesses, and I just want to give you a little bit more of what that means. Being downtown has its opportunities and its challenges. We have programs in place to promote our downtown businesses and provide them with advice and support from among their peers and from experts that we have access to. We hand out a quarterly award to celebrate retailers with exceptional storefront displays that contribute to the downtown experience. This allows us to promote a retailer that's doing a really great job, giving back to the community, and also speak about how downtown can be a pedestrian-friendly place, a place where people, you just want to walk around and run into your friends and family. We hold annual classes like this shoestring marketing we held last year, so businesses can gain knowledge and grow their business and gain access to tools and information they might not have had the opportunity to have. We convene a downtown coffee break quarterly where business owners can come together and gain information on business and retail trends. And it's also a place for them to discuss what they're experiencing in their corner of Main Street and pull together and tackle challenges or seize opportunities as they see fit, so to empower them. We have just launched a set of downtown itineraries on our website that help to connect businesses with specific like-minded audiences. So if you think of someone who's a big foodie and just wants to eat their way through McMinnville, we've got a path for them through our downtown. Take a bite out of McMinnville. We have one focused on those dog owners who loves to take their dog everywhere. How can you have that experience with your furry loved one in our downtown? We also host events that drive traffic to downtown businesses, like Small Business Saturday, which we host downtown every year on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. For some of our retailers, it's their biggest day of the year. We organize downtown businesses to have specials and sales and refreshments on that day and promote the day to encourage as many people as possible to come downtown and shop local. We're very big into shopping local. We know that for every dollar spent locally, 65% of that money stays local versus 10% if you shop at a chain or 0 if you shop online. So we make a point of shop McMinnville, Tennessee, shop small, because we believe that it's just going to keep building that economic engine. Okay, so how do we know we're doing anything? How do we know we're not just talking? And how do we have some ways that we measure our impact. And this is, I'm going to start wrapping up about what we do. Every year, Main Street McMinnville is required to submit statistics to the National Main Street and the Tennessee Main Street program about our impact. So these are some of the statistics I wanted to share with you. In 2018, the net gain of 22 new jobs and 6 new businesses downtown. But what I want to highlight here, that's great. We gained new jobs, we got some new businesses downtown. That 375 plus employees downtown, if you think of downtown as a single employer, that's bigger than just two of the manufacturers in Warren County. So that's a huge group of jobs. If we can keep those businesses growing, and we can make sure that those jobs stay there, then that's keeping those people employed and potentially even growing more jobs. And it looks like we are. That's what these numbers are showing us. There is momentum downtown. There is interest in having your business downtown. It is very marketable. While we don't take credit for all of this work, we do see it as evidence that downtown has momentum. 24 buildings have undergone some form of rehabilitation last year, improvement done. Remember what we talked about, 90% of the businesses, in theory, around those buildings would have experienced some increase in sales because of that investment. I also wanted to highlight that we brought 15,000 attendees downtown to our events. 15, and of those, many of them probably haven't been downtown in a long time. So we introduced them to what's new and what's happening, that downtown isn't just rusty awning supports and broken curbs anymore. We collected 1,100 volunteer hours, and I wanted to highlight that as well because that's 1,100 hours that people felt committed to our mission and what we do, and that they feel like they're giving back to their community when they serve with us. And I think that translates into a value of $28,000 for us. I also wanted to point out that from Main Street McMinnville's inception, our vacancy rate downtown has gone from 30% to 15%. And we still work on that every day. It's a question we're constantly asking ourselves. How can we decrease the amount of vacancies downtown? So I'm going to follow up with one more slide, and that is to talk a little bit more specifically about, we've talked a little bit about how our programs impact county government and serve your constituents. But these are kind of county-wide initiatives that we align ourselves and we are part of. I believe that's what the beauty of our Main Street program is. It has grown from an organization kind of focused on downtown or working just in downtown and now we think beyond downtown to what downtown can do for our community's overarching goals. We think about how downtown can both grow the pie of our economy by supporting small businesses, but also support other economic and community development efforts happening across our county. This perspective means we're working alongside the city and county initiatives to improve the future of our community. We're a member of the Warren Wellness Committee alongside the Health Department, the school system, and others, a committee that develops initiatives and events to improve Warren County's health outcomes. We determine ways Main Street can work, support the work, and promote walks with the mayor on the Greenway and promote how downtown businesses and its features like our Greenway can fit into anyone's wellness and fitness routines. Tourism is an evolving interest shared by the city and county. It is a powerful economic tool that diversifies our economy and promotes the best of what our community has to offer the world. Warren County is lucky to have cultural, natural, and heritage landmarks. We have what people want, is the bottom line. The largest living generation right now, millennials, have a spending power of $1.4 trillion. And we know that more than half of them prefer shopping and dining in historic downtowns. We also know that these cultural tourists tend to stay longer and spend more money than average tourists. Main Street recognizes its responsibility to care for downtown as a cultural tourism destination and to support the many efforts advancing tourism in the county. We also recognize the importance of downtown as a base camp for the adventure tourists to refuel, to gear up, and to spend the night. Downtown's restaurants, bakeries, and brewery are working on the refueling. In our next fiscal year, Main Street will turn our attention to how we can encourage and support downtown lodging in an initiative also found in the Warren County Strategic Plan. So finally, Main Street understands the importance of downtown as a big contributor to quality of life for people across the county. According to Area Development Magazine Corporate Survey in 2018, I believe, Quality of life is the sixth most important factor in site selections among manufacturers. By nurturing our downtown, we nurture a strong sense of place, a beehive of activity, unique and memorable experiences, and ultimately a friendly and proud community. We nurture a place that presents the best that Warren County has to offer future employers. It's a place you want to be in. It's a place you want to live in, and a place that attracts talent and the employers who seek them. Main Street is proud to act as a complement to the hard work of the Industrial Development Board and the Chamber of Commerce to help them attract new businesses and manufacturers to our community. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Katie, I have a question.
Okay. A voice from someone. Yeah.
The figure that you had given us on since the inception
Oh.
of downtown, was that figure given from the revitalization of downtown from the very first phase? What's that 30 to 15%?
I can't tell you that, and I'll tell you why I can't tell you that. And I can research it for you, Robert, because I know that that you were part of that. This is that number, 30%. I can count 15%, obviously, or figure that up. But 30%, when we do our reinvestment statistic, it always asks, what was the vacancy rate at the time of your incorporation as a nonprofit or as a Main Street program? And we put 30%. So I'm relying on that legacy information. But if you have something different, I'd love to talk to you more about it.
Well, no, I remember what downtown McMinnville was before the revitalization started, and where we are today in comparison is just monumental.
Yeah. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's a bigger impact. But that's the one I've got. Any other questions?
Thank you, Ms. Kemezis, for that. Main Street is a vital part of economic community development with the state, and the 3-star application as well. So we thank you for your professionalism and your donations. Next item is old business. Any member of the commission have any old business to bring up tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Item number 1 is resolution 5-219. Mr. Cobb, would you like to explain this resolution? So this came out of our litter grant.
Yes, this is a resolution that we're required to pass in order to apply for funding from TDOT for the litter grant, which funds a guard who takes inmates from the trustees from the jail to the roads to pick up trash and litter and dump sites around the county.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Yes, we have a motion, Commissioner Wiltshire, a second from Commissioner Taylor. Anybody else want to speak to that motion? Then we'll call for the vote.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Carl E. Bolden,
Yes.
Carl E. Bolden,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
David Dunlap,
Yes.
Randy England,
Yes.
Deborah Evans,
Yes.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Richard Grissom,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Yes.
Robert Hennessy,
Yes.
Lori Jenkins,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Gary Martin,
Yes.
Daniel Owens,
Yes.
Gary Prater,
Yes.
Chrissy Ross,
Yes.
Scott Ridley,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
Yes.
Tyrone Spartman,
Yes.
Joseph Stotts,
Yes.
Philip Stout,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Lane Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change their vote? 24 yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, as most of you know, with the passing of Dr. Pat Sabo, who was also acting as our medical examiner and director, as well as our jail physician, his passing left a big void, not on the hearts of many, but also across the community and of course at those agencies that depended upon his professional service. And so through our diligence, Director of MS, Denny, and myself worked diligently to find a replacement, and we have done so and signed those documents. But I'd like to entertain a motion tonight to confirm the appointment of Dr. Jeff Peterson as our medical examiner for Warren County.
I so move.
We have a motion from Commissioner Lee and a second from Commissioner Taylor. Anybody else got any questions or want to speak to that motion? And all in favor of confirming Dr. Jeff Peterson as our medical examiner, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next item is to appoint a member to our Industrial Development Board. It was kind of sad when Gary Judkins had to resign from the IDB. It served us well. And so with our new Granicus program, we're able to be a little bit more transparent, get a little bit more input from the community. So we opened up the application process through our Granicus program, and we had 6 applicants to apply. Each one of those applicants, I think, is here tonight, and so I offered them 2 minutes to present themselves to the commission, and then we will call for a vote individually for each one, which will allow each commissioner to vote for one of those. But I would like to entertain a motion to accept those candidates as applicants for the position of the IDB board to fill out the 6-month position. We have a motion for Commissioner Grissom, a second for Commissioner Brown. Anybody else want to speak to that motion? Then all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We have the 6 applicants on the screen, and so we will begin with Mr. Mike Witherspoon. I think you all received a copy of that application, so if you'd like to present yourself to the commission, Mr. Witherspoon.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioners, good evening. As most of you all know, I'm Mike Witherspoon. As to my qualifications for the open position on the IDB board, they include 37 years experience in industrial and manufacturing engineering, finance, and management. My first 15 years were spent in increasingly responsible positions in engineering, and then 17 years in industrial manufacturing finance, rising to the position of the primary finance resource to the Vice President of North American Commercial Manufacturing. That covered a total of 7 plants, usually 4 at any one time. For the next 5 years, I was the cost accountant for the Emerson facility in Murfreesboro. In all of my finance positions, I was responsible for overall review of capital appropriation requests, including plant startups and closures, as well as capital outlays for equipment, building expansion, etc. In 1 year, I reviewed and forwarded capital appropriation requests totaling $22 million that were subsequently approved. I was also responsible for developing and monitoring plant budgets, reporting on manufacturing indices, and suggesting corrective action when needed, and any other financial responsibilities assigned to me. So what does all that have to do with the IDB? I believe this gives me the experience, maybe unique experience, on the IDB needed to review proposals presented by the applicant companies to determine the likelihood of the company obtaining their commitments for employment, start dates, longevity, and economic impact on Warren County. I'm currently the chairman of the Board of Equalization, a poll worker during elections, and am on the MDRFC board, which administers the pilot program. I believe that closer coordination between the IDB and the MDRFC will be beneficial for both groups. If you have any questions of me, I'll be glad to try to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Witherspoon. Next on the list is Jenny Crawford Nefroda, so if you would like to come to the podium, introduce yourself to the commission.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. Bring that down because that's short. I have lived in Warren County, grown up here, and many of you may know my grandmother, Emma Hitchcock, and my mom is Miriam Crawford. We have a income tax business where I personally do over 1,000 tax returns a year. So I talk to a lot of people in this area in the county, and I feel like a really good grasp on what if people are working and where they're working and how stable they feel that their jobs are. My husband is a retired naval commander, and we spent 10 years of his career married with our boys traveling around the world. And I've lived in many different cities and been with many different types of industries and many different economic situations. And I do income taxes for corporates all the way down to people that are farm workers and nurserymen. And I see a lot of different types of people that come in. I've done a lot of different types of taxes. I can bring that to the board, where I can look at a company and say, this is what this can possibly do for our county. If you noticed the presentation, the last slide that they had, our county is in the top 30%, according to that chart. There's no reason that we shouldn't have industry here. We have a lot to offer. We have wonderful people and skilled labor, and we need that skilled labor that's coming out of our high schools and out of TCAT and out of these Motlow dual enrollment programs to stay in this county. They need jobs in this county. We don't need them to have their certificate and have to go work at Nissan in Decker. We need them to stay here and live here and contribute to our community here, and that's what I would like to see. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Next candidate is Ryan Lawrence. If you'd like to address the commission, introduce yourself.
Good evening, I'm Ryan Lawrence. Thanks for having me. The reason I think I'll be good for the board, I'll tell you a little story. I was born in McMinnville. My parents are both from McMinnville. When I was 2 years old, we moved to Manchester. While we moved to Manchester, they both worked at Batesville. Excuse me. Spring in Tennessee is getting the best of me. But anyways, they both worked at Batesville Casket Company. They both retired at 35 plus years. After high school, so I grew up in Manchester. After high school, I was at MTSU, took the infamous semester off on a whim. I put in an application for Bridgestone. I got hired at Bridgestone, met my wife. What did I do? I moved back to McMinnville because of industry. So I've been, my whole young adult life was impacted by industry for that reason. After a few years at Bridgestone, I went to, got a job at Caney Fork. I've been a lineman at Caney Fork for 20 years. And for the last 10 years, I've got my own company. I'm a general contractor. So I see every day the impact of what industry can do for a county. I feel like if I'm on the board, I can work hard. I know it's a tough job. There's 94 other counties trying to do the same thing we are. But I think we can sell this county. I think there's a lot to offer this county. And when we bring it in, I don't really want to fight. Any industry's good, but we don't need the $10 an hour industry. We need $20 an hour, $25 an hour industry to really grow this county. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate everything. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Next candidate is Michael Elam. Want to come to the podium and introduce yourself to the commission?
Not always this slow. I'm Mike Elam. I was born out at Morrison, educated in Morrison High School when there were 6 schools in the county. Graduated from Tennessee Tech with a degree in agriculture. Went to work in a year before I got out with the Department of Agriculture, with Farmers Home Administration, making loans to farmers and people who wanted to buy homes, cattle equipment, and all of those things. I worked in Warren County for about 15 years, then transferred with a promotion to Murfreesboro District Office, processing loans there to cities and towns and counties, to organizations for fire departments, hospitals, libraries, utility districts, water, sewer, even some industrial parks. I worked in that position for about 20 years, doing that type of thing over a 13-county area with the Department of Agriculture. I think that my experience in that makes me eminently qualified to work in this position, and I ask for your vote. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to listen and maybe answer.
Thank you, Mr. Elam. Next, come to the podium, Mr. Rodney Boyd, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the commission.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Rodney Boyd, General Manager, CEO of McMinnville Electric System. I'm not originally from Warren County. I chose to move here 19 years ago with my family and children. They have a copy of the resume that we had to send in.
I got the application.
Okay. Just draw your attention, I am a board member of the Middle Tennessee Industrial Development Association. I'm a board member of St. Thomas River Park Hospital. I was president of Main Street McMinnville when they did all of the renovations that happened downtown Katy. And I'm also a past president of the McMinnville Rotary Club. I'm a board member of Tennessee Health Works. I'm a member of the Warren County Business Action Roundtable Committee. Also, I'm a past president of the Chamber of Commerce and Secretary-Treasurer of the McMinnville Downtown Revenue Finance Corporation and Secretary-Treasurer of the McMinnville Joint Economic and Community Development Board. I have been in that position of Secretary-Treasurer for that particular board since its inception. And Don Alexander and I just got finished going to a Tennessee Valley Economic Development Forum. It was the 14th forum that TVA had. I attended the first one and have attended every one since then. I would like to offer my expertise in industrial development to Warren County and would be honored to serve in that position if you so choose me. Glad to answer any questions that you might have about me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next candidate is Mr. Terry Bell. If you'd like to come to the podium, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners. I guess I run a nursery and a farm in the Rock Island area. I guess you're wondering why I'd love to be on the industrial board. But I served 16 years on this county commission. I was instrumental in helping secure funding for the last two spec buildings that the industrial board built. And I hope we can get that program back to going because I know we have a lot of industries industries that need workers now. But you will have economic downturn, so you need to be ready for that when it comes and have a building ready for somebody. I think one of our major problems is our workforce. We have a lot of existing industries today that need help from the industrial board and need our workforce, good work ethics in our workforce. And hopefully we can do some programs with the schools to get our children to understand the importance of going to work. And I appreciate your consideration, your vote. Thank you.
You've seen all 6 candidates. What we'll do is we will begin the vote. You can cast one vote for one candidate. And so we'll start in the order that they presented themselves. And we'll start with Mr. Mike Witherspoon. And we'll go through all 24 commissioners' vote. If you wish to pass and wait for your candidate, that's your option. So don't count twice. And we'll see how the votes turn out. So, Clerk, if you will call the vote for Mr. Mike Witherspoon.
Michael Bell.
Pass.
Carl D. Bolden.
Pass.
Carl E. Bolden.
Pass.
Carleen Brown.
Pass.
David Dunlap.
Pass.
Randy England.
Pass.
Deborah Evans.
Pass.
Steve Glenn.
Pass.
Richard Grissom.
Pass.
Stephen Hilton.
Pass.
Robert Hennessy.
Pass.
Lori Jenkins.
Pass.
Ron Lee.
Pass.
Gary Martin.
Pass.
Daniel Owens.
Pass.
Gary Prater.
Pass.
Christy Ross.
Pass.
Scott Ruble.
Pass.
Tommy Savage.
Pass.
Tyrone Spartman.
Pass.
Joseph Stotts.
Pass.
Philip Stout.
Pass.
Cole Taylor.
Pass.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Pass.
Anyone want to change your vote?
Thank you. Next candidate will be Jenny Nefradas. You can start from the bottom of the vote this time.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Pass.
Cole Taylor.
Pass.
Philip Stout.
Pass.
Joseph Stotts.
Pass.
Tyrone Spartman.
Pass.
Tommy Savage.
Yes.
Scott Ruble.
Pass.
Christy Ross.
Yes.
Gary Prater.
Pass.
Daniel Owens.
Yes.
Gary Martin.
Pass.
Ron Lee.
Pass.
Laura Jenkins,
Yes.
Robert Hennessy,
Pass.
Stephen Helton,
Pass.
Richard Grissom,
Pass.
Steve Glenn,
Yes.
Deborah Evans,
Yes.
Randy England,
Pass.
David Dunlap,
Yes.
Carleen Brown,
Yes.
Carl E. Bolden,
Yes.
Carl D. Bolden,
Pass.
Michael Bell.
Pass.
Thank you. Next candidate is Mike Elam. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Lawrence. I'm sorry, skipped over. Ryan Lawrence.
Michael Bell,
Pass.
Carl D. Bolden,
Pass.
Carl E. Bolden,
Pass.
Carleen Brown,
Pass.
David Dunlap,
Pass.
Randy England,
Pass.
Deborah Evans,
Pass.
Steve Glenn,
Pass.
Richard Grissom,
Pass.
Stephen Helton,
Pass.
Robert Hennessy,
Pass.
Laura Jenkins,
Pass.
Ron Lee,
Pass.
Gary Martin,
Pass.
Daniel Owens,
Pass.
Gary Prater,
Pass.
Christie Ross,
Pass.
Scott Ruble,
Pass.
Tommy Savage,
Pass.
Tyrone Spartman,
Pass.
Joseph Stotts,
Pass.
Philip Stout,
Pass.
Cole Taylor,
Pass.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Pass.
Anyone want to change their vote?
Thank you. Now for Mike Elam.
Blaine Wiltshire,
Pass.
Cole Taylor,
Pass.
Philip Stout,
Yes.
Joseph Stotts,
Yes.
Tyrone Spartman,
Pass.
Tommy Savage,
Pass.
Scott Ruble,
Pass.
Christie Ross,
Pass.
Gary Prater,
Pass.
Daniel Owens,
Pass.
Gary Martin,
Yes.
Ron Lee,
Yes.
Lori Jenkins,
Pass.
Robert Hennessy,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Pass.
Richard Grissom,
Pass.
Steve Glenn,
Pass.
Deborah Evans,
Pass.
Randy England,
Pass.
David Dunlap,
Pass.
Carleen Brown,
Pass.
Carl E. Bolden,
Pass.
Carl D. Bolden,
Pass.
Michael Bell.
Pass.
Anyone want to change your vote?
Next candidate is Rodney Boyd.
Michael Bell,
Pass.
Carl D. Bolden,
Pass.
Carl E. Bolden,
Pass.
Carleen Brown,
Pass.
David Dunlap,
Pass.
Randy England,
Pass.
Deborah Evans,
Pass.
Steve Glenn,
Pass.
Richard Grissom,
Yes.
Stephen Helton,
Pass.
Robert Hennessy,
Pass.
Lori Jenkins,
Pass.
Ron Lee,
Pass.
Gary Martin,
Pass.
Daniel Owens,
Pass.
Gary Prater,
Pass.
Christie Ross,
Pass.
Scott Ruble,
Pass.
Tommy Savage,
Pass.
Tyrone Spartman,
Pass.
Joseph Stotts,
Pass.
Philip Stout,
Pass.
Cole Taylor,
Pass.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Pass.
Anyone want to change your vote?
Last candidate is Mr. Terry Bell. Call for the vote.
Blaine Wiltshire,
Yes.
Cole Taylor,
Yes.
Philip Stout,
Pass.
Joseph Stotts,
Pass.
Tyrone Spartman,
Yes.
Tommy Savage,
No.
Scott Ruble,
Yes.
Christie Ross, Gary Prater,
Yes.
Daniel Owens,
Pass.
Gary Martin,
Pass.
Ron Lee,
Pass.
Lori Jenkins,
Pass.
Robert Hennessy,
Pass.
Stephen Helton,
Pass. Yes.
yes. Grissom. Steve Glenn.
Pass.
Deborah Evans.
Pass.
Randy England.
Yes.
David Dunlap.
Pass.
Carleen Brown.
Pass.
Carl E. Bolden.
Pass.
Carl D. Bolden.
Yes.
Michael Bell.
Yes.
Anyone want to change your vote?
It's a tie 9-9.
What do we do, arm wrestle?
We'll we can do the top 2 candidates. Vote again for the top 2 candidates. We'll start with Mr. Bill this time. Jenny Nafrata and Terry Bell. Start with Terry this time.
Michael Bell. This is for Terry Bell.
Yes.
Carl D. Bolden.
Yes.
Carl E. Bolden.
Pass.
Carleen Brown.
Pass.
David Dunlap.
I'm sorry, who are we voting for?
Jenny Nafrata and Terry Bell. This is Terry Bell right now. Terry Bell right now.
I pass.
Randy England.
It's, again, for Terry, yes.
Terry Bell.
Deborah Evans.
Pass.
Steve Glenn.
Pass.
Richard Grissom.
Pass.
Stephen Helton.
Yes.
Robert Hennessy.
Pass.
Lori Jenkins.
Pass.
Ron Lee.
Yes.
Gary Martin.
Pass.
Daniel Owens.
Pass.
Gary Prater.
Yes.
Christie Ross.
Pass.
Scott Ruble.
Yes.
Tommy Savage.
Pass.
Tyrone Spartman.
Yes.
Joseph Stotts.
Pass.
Philip Stout.
Yes.
Cole Taylor.
Yes.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Yes.
Anyone want to change your vote?
This will be voting for Jenny Nafrata.
Blaine Wiltshire.
Pat.
Cole Taylor.
Pass.
Philip Stout.
Pass.
Joseph Stotts.
Yes.
Tyrone Spartman.
Pass.
Tommy Savage.
Yes.
Scott Ruble.
Pass.
Christie Ross.
Yes.
Gary Prater.
Pass.
Daniel Owens.
Yes.
Gary Martin.
Yes.
Ron Lee.
Pass.
Lori Jenkins.
Yes.
Robert Hennessy.
Yes.
Stephen Helton.
Pass.
Richard Grissom.
Yes.
Steve Glenn.
Yes.
Deborah Evans.
Yes.
Randy England.
Pass.
David Dunlap.
Yes.
Carleen Brown.
Yes.
Carl E. Bolden.
Yes.
Carl D. Bolden.
Pass.
Michael Bell.
Pass.
Mr. Nafrata got 13 votes, Mr. Bell got 11. So, Mr. Nafrata, we welcome you to the Industrial Development Board for this 6-month stint. So thank you very much for willing to be served. Thank you, Commission. Moving on to the next item of business is approval of constable bonds. Scott, if you can explain those.
This is just one bond, it's for Anthony Soren, constable, and it's an amount of $5,000.
We have a motion for Commissioner Bell. We have a second for Commissioner Stout. Anybody want to speak to that motion? Then all in favor of the approval of the constable bond say yes or aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next item is approval of notaries. I think you have a list of notaries on your desk. Is there a motion to approve? We have a motion from Commissioner Spartman, second from Commissioner Hennessy. Anybody else want to speak to that motion? Then all in favor of approval of notaries say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Next item is announcements. We got several announcements tonight. They're not all on here, but they're proclamations and just for information. And so the chair would like to recognize Commissioner Stotts with a proclamation about stepping up. Pardon me for call.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Warren County Commission. The Stepping Up program is a nationwide initiative that's been adopted in over 400 counties nationwide. It has also been adopted in Shelby County, Tennessee, and has seen great results. It is at no cost to this county. The first step in us joining the Stepping Up program is me reading the following proclamation, declaring our intent as a governing body to do the best that we can for criminal justice in Warren County and for the citizens of this county. Stepping up to reduce the number of people with mental illnesses in jails. Whereas counties routinely provide treatment services to the estimated 2 million people with serious mental illnesses booked into jail each year. Whereas prevalence rates of serious mental illnesses in jails are 3 to 6 times higher than those for the general public. Whereas almost 3/4 of adults with serious mental illness in jails have co-occurring substance use disorders. Whereas adults with mental illnesses tend to stay longer in jail and upon release are at a higher risk of recidivism than people without these disorders. Whereas county jails spend 2 to 3 times more on adults with mental illnesses that require interventions compared to those without these treatment needs. Whereas without the appropriate treatment and services, people with mental illnesses continue to cycle through the criminal justice system, often resulting in tragic outcomes for these individuals and their families. Whereas Warren County, Tennessee, and all counties take pride in their responsibility to protect and enhance the health and welfare and safety of its residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. Whereas Warren County has initiated counseling service in the Warren County Jail to assist in keeping residents that have substance use and mental health issues out of jail. Whereas through Stepping Up, the National Association of Counties, the Council of State Governments Justice Center, and the American Psychiatric Association Foundation are encouraging public, private, and nonprofit partners to reduce the number of people with mental illnesses in jails. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that we, Commissioner Joseph Stotts, County Executive Jimmy Haley, Sheriff Tommy Myers, and the entire Warren County Commission do hereby sign on to call to action to reduce the number of people with mental illnesses in our county jail. We commit to sharing lessons learned with other counties in our state and across the county to support a national initiative and encourage all county officials, employees, and residents to participate in Stepping Up. We're resolved to utilize the comprehensive resources available through Stepping Up to convene or draw on a diverse team of leaders and decision makers from multiple agencies committed to safely reducing the number of people with mental illnesses in jails. Collect and review prevalence numbers and assess individuals' needs to better identify adults entering jails and mental illnesses and the recidivism risk, and use that baseline information to guide decision making at the system, program, and case levels. Examine treatment and service capacity to determine which programs and services are available in the county for people with mental illnesses and co-occurring substance use disorders, and identify state and local policy and funding barriers to minimize contact with the criminal justice and providing treatment and supports within the community. And to develop a plan with measurable outcomes that draws on the jail assessment and prevalence data and the examination of available treatment and service capacity while considering identified barriers. Implement evidence-based approaches that advance the plan and create a process to track data using the information systems that we have at our access. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commission.
Thank you. Next proclamation that we've got, if we could have the representatives from the Families in Crisis. I think we've got Taffy and we've got Courtney here, I think. If y'all will come to the podium. So this is a proclamation for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month is intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and impacts every community member of Warren County. And whereas rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment impact our community as seen by statistics indicating that 1 in 5 women and 1 in 71 men will be raped at some point in their lives. And whereas child sexual abuse prevention must be a priority to confront the reality that 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls will experience a sexual assault before the age of 18. And whereas young people experience heightened rates of sexual violence, and youth ages 12 through 17 were 2.5 more times likely to be victims of rape or sexual assault. And whereas we must work together to educate our community about sexual violence prevention, supporting survivors, and speaking out against harmful attitudes and actions. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is evidence that we can be successful in preventing sexual violence in Warren County through increased education, awareness, and community involvement. And whereas Warren County strongly supports the efforts of state and national organizations, our community sexual assault programs, families in crisis, and of every resident to actively engage in public and private efforts to prevent sexual violence, it is time for all of us to start conversations, take appropriate actions, and support one another to create a safer environment for all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Warren County stands with communities across this nation in playing an active role in prevention and advocates for all affected by sexual violence. Along with the United States government and Warren County, I do hereby proclaim April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So we thank y'all for all of your efforts and the organizations that are out there trying to educate the public and bring awareness, bring grants, and bring stability to the lives and the victims that have suffered under this terrible plot that's facing our society. So I want to present you with this. If you would like to say something, we'd love for you to address the commission, but I want to thank you for your hard work and effort. Christy Stubblefield couldn't be here tonight, so we appreciate her efforts as well.
Thank you, Commissioner, and the County Commission as a whole for this opportunity and this proclamation. We appreciate your efforts.
I'd like to recognize the other members of SART that have joined us here tonight. We have representatives from the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department, the DA's office, Judicial Commissioners, and 911. We're working very hard to make sure that we take care of everyone that we need to serve in the community. Thank you so much.
We'll take a community to help all this. Next proclamation is for the National Day of Prayer. It says we're out throughout the history of this nation in times of plenty, in times of scarcity, in periods of joy, and in moments of sorrow. Many have turned to prayer, reaching out to the Almighty for courage, for guidance, to give thanks, and to seek solace. Whereas the First Continental Congress called for a National Day of Prayer in 1775, and President Abraham Lincoln called for a National Day of Prayer in 1863. Whereas the National Day of Prayer was established as an official annual day of observance in 1952 by a joint resolution of the United States Congress and signed into law by President Harry S. Truman. The law was amended in 1988 by President Ronald Reagan to establish the first Thursday of every May as National Day of Prayer. And whereas we recognize that many people and institutions in our community that need divine direction, protection, and provision, and whereas the 2019 National Day of Prayer provides an opportunity to pray for our nation, its people, and its leaders, while honoring the commitment to religious liberty that contributes to our continued strength as a nation. And whereas the theme of the National Day of Prayer 2019 is Love One Another, and is based upon John 13:34, which states, "Love one another just as I have loved you." Now therefore, I, Jimmy Haley, Warren County Executive, do hereby proclaim Thursday, May 3rd, 2019 is National Day of Prayer in Warren County, Tennessee. And in commemoration of this event, urge all citizens to join together in their homes, places of work, and places of worship to pray for the unity of the hearts of all mankind and to continue to pray for our county, our state, and our nation. Thank you. I'd like to present this, I think, to Mr. Jeff Page, since you are our
2nd. So
May
May
2nd,
3rd on
yes.
Wednesday. So there is a typo. So that's
All right.
it for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Couple of other announcements to be made. I think several of you joined us for Bologna Day in Nashville, so we had a great time kind of interacting with Representative Sherrill and Bricken and Senator Bowling. And so I want to thank Southern Central for the hospitality they gave and for Prater's Barbecue for providing our lunch. So it was a great event that was spearheaded by the Chamber. And so I want to thank Ms. Eller and those persons at the Chamber that contributed that. It's always a great experience. Gives a time for us to connect and to understand what the process of government in Nashville is all about. So I want to thank y'all for that. Also, we'll be closed on Good Friday. So just a reminder that those of you that might want to be doing business here at the courthouse or the county admin building, we will be closed. May 11th, I think is Commissioner Wiltshire. I think you wanted to say something again to remind about May 11th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This will be our, I'm not sure, I think it's the 6th year we've done this, Elected Officials Day at the Habitat Build, which will be, or is, at 217 Mount Leo Heights, and everybody has a copy of the map and the information. Since we won't meet again until before then, I want to make sure if you want to attend, you're welcome to attend. You can come all day, half a day, whenever you want to, and Gary and Prater's Barbecue are providing the meal.
So thank you. If you'll remember also that April 26th, 9:30, that we'll be doing the groundbreaking for the new hotel. At 11 o'clock, we'll be doing the ribbon cutting for the robotics center. So it'll be a great day across Warren County and McMinnville as we celebrate workforce development and the cooperation between private and public sectors across the state to bring that wonderful facility. For those of you that have not toured it, you need to be there on the 26th. And to a wonderful event as we celebrate a great accomplishment across this community. Also, our deadline for the nonprofits was this last week, so we'll be scheduling procedure and rules to be reviewing those nonprofit requests. We're also transitioning, of course, with our emails and website and Granicus. And Matthew, do you want to say something about to that, to the commission?
I passed out a memo to you regarding the emails being upgraded, and that's going to happen on Thursday. Charlie Johnson in the Finance Department and I had an update about the website editing, so that will be hopefully launched, if not by the end of this month, by May 1st, and that will include better integration with the Granicus software, including the boards and commissions platform, which will allow you to see who's on what board and commission, when their term expires, if they're a city appointee, county appointee, all that kind of stuff. So go from a notebook in our office to the internet. So.
Thank you. Is there any further business before the commission tonight? Do we have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner South, second from, I think, Commissioner Ross? You looked a little hesitant there, like you had something else to say. So with no further business then,